All right, hello, welcome back to problem solving. So today we are going to talk about compound interest. Okay, so we warn you, this is an actual formula that banks actually use to figure this stuff out. So if you're getting completely unrealistic numbers, you've probably done something horribly wrong. I know two things we're going to do. So let's just go ahead and share the screen and get into some examples. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right. So compound interest, this is the thing where you get interest on your interest. Okay, that's what's going on here. So the idea here, okay, is shoot, there we go. There it is. Oh, there we are. Okay. So it's hard to see my little pointer here. So the idea is that like say you have you loaned your cousin or something $100, and because it's your cousin, you're going to say, look, how about next year you pay me back $105, right? So it's 5% APR, which is for a personal loan not too bad. It's an annual percentage rate. Right, and that would be 5%. Okay, well, 5% times, so 100 plus 0.05 times 100 would be 100 plus 5 equals 1/5. Okay, so that's the idea there. But next year, Thanksgiving, you see your cousin again. He's like, I forgot about the money. Look, can I get you next year? And you're like, yeah, but I kind of needed that back. So I'll rent you the money for another year, which is what interest is. It's allowing you to rent money. Okay, and you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to keep that 5%, but now you owe me, right, 105. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, we're going to do the 105, but I'm also going to charge you interest on that $5 that you owe me. Okay, it's a nice family. Okay, but I also understand. Okay, so you're going to say, well, this is going to be 100 plus 105 plus, erase this, do 105 plus 0.05 times 105. Okay, so what we're going to have here, right? I'm actually have to use a calculator because I don't know 5% of 105 offhand, but oh, that's cute. Okay, so we have, let's see, 105 times 0.05. Okay, so we have $5.25. Okay, so we have 105 plus $5.25. So the next year, right, you should pay 110 and 25 cents. And of course, next year, right, he comes back and says, oh, I left it in my other pants. I don't have it for you today. I'll pay you back next year. Trust me. Sure. Okay, $110, 25 cents. You say, look, I'm still going to charge you. I'll keep you the 5%. We're family, but I'm going to charge you. We're going to charge you interest on what you already owe me, because you now owe me 110.25. We're going to charge you another 5% on that. So, and this will go on until grandma has to keep you from breaking his thumbs or something. Okay, because he's never going to pay you back. But this interest rate is going to go on and on and on. Okay. The formula we use to actually do this, okay, is the amount that you owe, or the amount that you're owed, is equal to your principal. So this is the amount you're owed or owed is equal to your principal. That's what the P is there for, times, and this is a little bit of a different operation I think a lot of people are used to. It's 1 plus, excuse me, R. This is your APR as a decimal. Okay, divided by N. You don't have to compound once per year. You can compound, usually it's 12 times per year because it's monthly, right? We have credit cards that you pay on a monthly basis, where they charge you interest on a monthly basis, plus a fee if you don't pay them. But this is the number of compounding periods. Okay, this is number of compounding periods per year. Okay, raised to the, I'm going to put it in parentheses, n times t. Okay, same n, number of compounding periods per year. Pause a moment. All right, there we go. Got some coffee in me, so maybe that'll help. Okay, because we have an APR here, right? This R is an APR. This is annual. Time is going to be in number of years. Okay, so there's some problems that ask you for like 18 months. The time is 1.5. Okay, because it's 18 months, it's 1.5 years. Okay, so that's what we have for our formula. Okay, so after 3 years, after 3 years, which will be 1 year after this. Okay, actually, let's go after 2 years. Okay, let's just do after 2. Okay, we're going to have the amount owed is equal to, well, we've owned them $100, okay, times, and we have our 1 plus. Now, here's the mistake everybody makes. You have to convert your 5% APR, 5% interest rate, to a decimal place, okay, divided by, well, we only compounded it once a year, right, divided by, and then we have NT. So we have number of compounding periods per year, 1 times, we went for 2 years here. Okay, so that's what we have for our formula. Now I put this in parentheses because sometimes it's a little bit trickier arithmetic, but you could just go ahead and say this is 100 times 1 plus 0.05 raised to the second power. Okay, and that's just what we're going to do. So if we have a fancier calculator, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to work parentheses. So we're going to say what's $1 plus $1 plus a nickel, right? It's $1.05, 1.05, right? Didn't even have to use a calculator for that. Then we're going to raise it to a power. That's this caret business right here, okay? You're going to see either an x to the y. Some calculators do y to the x, doesn't really matter, okay? We're going to hit that one, or we're going to hit the caret, okay? Because this is a tiny problem, you could also use x squared, that's fine. But a more general thing, this is not going to be 2, okay? But we're going to go ahead and hit that as a squared equals, all right? And then multiply it by, because we're not done yet. We did the inside, we did this part. So this was first, this was second. So we went this to this, and then we're going to go to that, okay? And then we're going to say times 100. Okay, and if you don't have a fancier calculator, you're pretty much going to have to do it that way. This is 110.25. This calculator is smart enough to do order of operations correctly, so you could say 100, as long as you use parentheses, times parentheses, 1 plus 0.05. So if you're a little bit afraid of working this on your own, caret parentheses, 1 times 2. Okay, so if you're a little worried about getting it all right, you can type it in as you see it. As long as you use parentheses, then it will know what to do first. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a moment while I set up Google Sheets for us, and I will do it again. Okay, so pause. Okay, so this is just a Google Sheets. I may have fumbled around with it more than I wanted to, but there we go. So we're just going to say, okay, well, here's our principal. Okay, so that was 100. Okay, and then we're going to do always the plus. Okay, plus or equals in order to make it to a formula. And we're going to say 1 plus 0.05. Okay, And then we can just do our NT here. So we can make a little N times T, N times T. And we know it's going to be 2. We don't have to type that back. So our A amount. And you could have put this second. It's fine. You could have put it over here. That's that's just fine. Okay, we're going to say plus again or equals, doesn't matter. But we're going to have our principal times, that's asterisk, times. And then the reason I did this was to do that, parentheses, raised to, and because this is already done in its own way, we don't need the parentheses for that. Okay, and then we have our answer. Okay, there are lots of other ways to set this up. This was just the way that I came up with for just now. But if you have a slightly different way of doing it, then be my guest and please arrange this spreadsheet to work for you. Don't worry about trying to mimic exactly what I did. If that works for you, great. But if you have a slightly different way you want to do it column-wise rather than row-wise, there's not going to be a problem. Okay. So let's work on a problem that might see something. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and add a page. Okay, and we'll say compound interest 2. All right, so here we go. So just come up with a problem here. We'll say something like you're going to put say $300 in a CD that will pay let's use a textbook interest rate. Okay, 4%. Okay, compounded monthly. Okay, compounded monthly. Let's put that $300 away for, let's go for 3 years. Okay, and then we'll see what we get. Okay, and this is really the formula that is used. Okay, I just want you to know that. So if you get a bad reading, you'll know what happened. Okay, so we have our A is equal to P1 plus R over N raised to the NT. I think I put these on every problem I asked you to do, so it's not, I would make a little note, because when you do your quiz, you are not, we don't proctor you. So if you want to make a little note card or a little sheet of useful formulas, that really will help you study. So I would encourage you to make a little sheet with like useful formulas on there. And if you want to put, you want to put what these letters mean next to that, that's just fine. Okay. So we're going to say A is equal to 300 parentheses 1 plus. Now 4%, that's 4 pennies, 0.04. Okay, so 0.04. Okay, divided by compounded monthly. How many months are in a year? It's 12. Okay, raised to the 12 times 3 years. Okay, let's simplify this up a little bit. We're just going to take the 3 times. Actually, let's not even bother with that. Let's just let it go with what it is. Okay, so A is going to be equal to. Okay, and again, I grew up on calculators that were not this smart. Okay, you had to do things kind of backwards. So I'm going to do the parentheses first, raise it, and then multiply the 300. Okay, so this little bit here, this is going to be first. Raising it is going to be the second step. And then we're going to be done and get our third step here. Multiply this thing. Okay, so that's just the order we're going to do this in. Okay, So we have 1 plus 0.04 divided by 12. Okay, it'll work with PEMDAS because multiplication division happens before addition. So we end up getting something like this. It had better be 1 point something. Okay, if you don't get 1 point something, that's the first thing you know you messed up. Okay, divided by parentheses. Okay, 12 times 3. Okay, again, parentheses, because I don't want it to be raised to the 12th power and then 3 times that whole mess. Okay, I don't want to do that. I want to raise it to the 36th power. So that's what we have to do with the parentheses here. Okay, equals. Okay, and then this whole mess, this thing all the way after the parentheses, that's what we're going to multiply by 300. Okay, and 4% interest, compounded monthly, after 3 years, we're going to have a grand total of $338 and looks like 18 cents. Okay, there are some, here's a mistake everybody makes. They don't convert the 4% into a decimal. Okay, so here's mistake. Here's the most common mistake. Okay, so, and by the way, 4% is like fairy tale, like textbook only sort of interest rates. I looked up on bank rate the other day, trying to find problems for you. We are looking at things like at the best interest rate you can get is like 1%. Okay, so if you walk into your bank and they quote you and they say, okay, we've got 0.8% for you here, that's pretty normal. Okay, 0.6%. Okay, so don't look at the text. If you look at other problems for this, you see other textbooks, you like do a worksheet, do a search for worksheets on compound interest. They're going to have interest rates that are just like, are you kidding? I've never seen this before. Like, no, you haven't. But textbooks actually want you to see a measurable change. Okay, so that's what we do. Okay, but often this is the mistake people make: is they say 300 and they say 1 plus 4 over 12 raised to the 36th power. Okay, 12 times 3 is 36. So if I look at this, right, 1 plus 4 over 12, okay, we still got 1 point something, right? But look at this number compared to the first number we got. Okay, it's a lot bigger. Then raised to the 36th power, okay, and then times 300. Okay, what was our original investment? It was $300, and this thing came out to be, what was this? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 9,438,000. So 9,438,000. Okay, 778. Just double check to see if I 1 plus that. Okay, we got their answer. Raised to the 36th power. Yep. And then times the 300. I wanted to make sure I didn't double up on anything somewhere. Okay. I don't know any bank that will give you a CD where you can turn $300 into $9 million in a matter of 3 years. If that were the case, everybody would have done it. Okay, this is a complete fantasy. Okay, what you've done here by not moving the decimals, you decided this is a 400% interest rate. Okay, so this is completely, even if you've never invested in a CD before, and I know most people haven't, but you're not making, like, they are not going to offer you 4% and then hand over $9 million in 3 years. Okay, if that were the case, college education, the cost of college education wouldn't be a problem for anybody, because everybody can get, work your summer job, you get $300 together. In 3 years, you're going to have $9 million. Like that's not happening. Okay, so I just really want to impress upon you, if you see these ridiculous numbers, okay, and something in here isn't ridiculous, this is a mistake you made right here. Okay, there's a Futurama where you do this for like 1,000 years and you get a ridiculous number, but it's a ridiculous number because nobody keeps a bank account for 1,000 years. Okay, it just doesn't work that way. This is what is known as USury. Okay, that is actually considered a crime. You can charge too high of an interest rate. Okay, they used to call that loan sharking. Now they call it title loans. Okay, but you're not allowed to charge more than a certain percent interest depending on your state. This is why most credit cards are either based in South Dakota or Delaware, because I think the usury rate there is 25%. So if you've got a pretty crummy credit card, they'll charge you 24.99%. Okay, it's not. If you're under this, you know this is not a good rate. Okay, so be aware for ridiculous results. Okay, this is a real formula used by real banks. They ain't giving you that many bucks. Okay, so let's go back to a non-mistake. Okay, let's go back to this nice reasonable number, $338.18, and even this is a fantasy. Okay, like I said, 4% is huge compared. Like that's not a realistic interest rate. Okay, this is way too high. 1% is about what you're going to get on a good day. But let's try it. What if we didn't compound it monthly? What if we said, oh, we'll compound it daily for you? Okay, so let's go to the. It sounds scary, right? We're going to compound daily. And it does sound scary, but it doesn't really change too much. So if we do 300, 1 plus, we have to do the 0.04, right? Because we're back to a normal interest rate. Okay. And we're going to do 365 here, right? Because we don't take holidays for interest rate. It doesn't know. Okay. And then at the top, NT, we have 365 compounding periods per year times 3 years. Okay. So that's how we could set this up. So even though if you take a cash advance, credit cards will charge you a daily interest rate. Okay. But it's 1 plus 0.04 divided by 365. I don't think they really count leap years, but there we go. So that's what we're going to end up with. Raised to parentheses, okay? 360, that's the second most common mistake, is people don't put the parentheses, they just put the 365 times 3, and it's not the same. Okay, times 3 years, okay, and we end up with that, and then times 300. Okay, now look at this. We got 338 and 25 cents. Okay, so going from monthly to daily increased this by about 7 cents. Okay, it's not the number of compounding periods per year that's going to screw you over, it's the interest that's going to screw you over. Okay, so even though if it's compounded more often, always go for the lower interest rate. Okay, so I think that's a good kind of intro to compounding interest. There is more to say about this, but this class doesn't really go into all of that, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. And we noticed we did not say, well, what if you start paying part of it off? You know, or what if you start taking withdrawals out of that CD? First off, don't do that; they charge you a penalty. But this is the walk before you learn how to run intro part of compound interest. Okay, after that, the formulas get a little bit more complicated. Usually you do have to write those down because the derivation for them is not the funnest thing in the world to do. But that's also why we invented spreadsheets, so you can track that stuff down. Okay, but that you might see the formulas for them in Math 114. Okay, but I'll stop. All right, so thank you. Good luck on doing this homework. It is it is a little bit more complicated, but all the questions are pretty straightforward because it is a more complicated formula. All right, so thank you, and I will see you in class.